presidency, and this is by the former governor of Kano State, Ibrahim Shekarau, who has said that the 17 governors should stop ganging up and issuing threats to get the 2023 presidential slot. So, of course, our current president is serving a full 8-year term, and he's from the north of Nigeria. So, as has always been our way to keep unity and everybody together, he should rotate around the country. But somehow now, it seems like to sit and plan for where it could land or who the viable candidates would be is a problem. But he's saying that I think the concern there is he's in agreement that it should, for unity, come round to the south, but that these conversations should be done in secret per se, rather than them making public statements and almost trying to create to fire up the polity is how they put it. So basically, go and do your meetings and your party politics, but don't try and stir up the populace, which, I mean, I don't know that. I think that there will be a larger, more concern for me if there's any talk about it's not coming to the South, because for me, I remember in 2015, the populace and the collective were not happy with the government. But, you know, where are we now, 6 years down the line? We're not happy with each other. There's real enmity and hatred among the different tribes in Nigeria. Just go onto social media and see how polarized we are. So if this thing happens to remain in the north, I don't know what is going to happen come 2023, because it seems like we're already in a high tension state about this thing. But let's see what happens.
I saw a headline that I did not read at anybody, but the headline was saying something about a certain, I think it's a governor, saying that his problem is not the presidency going to the south, is the fact that we are not asking them first. And that is the problem. And I was wondering, I don't understand. Inclusion for everybody else. Absolutely. So yeah, it is important. Okay, my story, yeah. This is supposed to be good news, right? After 9 weeks, Nigerian doctors call off strike. So says the Nigerian doctors under the umbrella of the National Association of Resident Doctors on Monday morning suspended its nationwide industrial action about 9 weeks after it commenced. The president of NAD said, we have officially suspended the strike to resume at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Down the line, we won't be back to another strike, and this is truly resolved, or whatever the issues are, which of course I know personally that they've not been truly resolved, but we're happy that they're going back to work.
You know, I was going to say that I think the biker that died, part of what... Oh, yes. I mean, we heard the story that it was also because story. I'm sure a lot of us are wondering what's happening to us on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. It's not working. It's not your Nigerian government, of course. A lot of people are beginning to suspect the Nigerian government. It's a very panicked call. What's going on? Why is everything down? It's actually supposed to be a worldwide issue. They said about 3 billion online users were frustrated and unable to connect all over the world today. So it's not so much of just locally within Nigeria. I think, okay, according to the owners, is it not the Zuckerbergs? It says we are working to get things back to normal and we'll send an update as soon as it's possible. So they are just asking for patience. They're asking for patience, and everybody should just understand. I think they're having a lot of issues.
We have a choice than to understand.
We don't have a choice. So the social media tools, including Facebook own Messenger service, were first reported for not being available from around 4:25 p.m. That's today. That's according to the U.S. time. Users visiting the social media platform owned by the Silicon Valley guru, that's Mark Zuckerberg, are confronted with error messages. So, but Twitter, I think, is working. So we're unaware that people are experiencing issues with WhatsApp at the moment. That's what they said. But now I'm sure they are aware that WhatsApp also is not working. Facebook is not working. Instagram is not working. So for those that are wondering what's happening, it's a global problem. So I thought to mention it. So don't think it's Buhari, because the next thing we hear now is that,
they've done it. But by the way,
Bubu is testing.
This is me begging, not calling out the banking sector in Nigeria to do better, because there are some issues that we face we're not supposed to be facing. So I don't know how you have money and then you cannot spend your money
Just don't
because
call
Well, it's not their
I'm not
fault.
calling
Don't call the banking sector without calling the telcos, without calling
all of
the
them, whatever,
ISPs.
however they work
It's
and work together.
It's a complete
They
infrastructure.
need to sort it out because today has been.
It's not the bank,
hell.
it's the network. So immediately I went to the gas station today. I was going to go get fuel for my car. And normally I use a POS. They say we should go cashless.
All
Right,
those
so
they need to call to get the job done.
Call the regulators. So they said that we
So
should
it's
go,
NCC I should call.
wait now. They said we should go cashless. They said we should do more
Online transactions.
So
So that's it. All right, so we'll take a break now. We want to talk unemployment and underemployment in Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, with a population of approximately 200 million, Nigeria is home to half of West Africa's young people, estimated at over 100 million between the ages of 15 to 35 years old. Now, 1 out of 3 young people are unemployed, and recent data revealed job seekers are applying for more than 20 jobs per day. Now, in 2020, Nigeria only created about 450,000 new jobs, while over 5 million people joined the labor force. This led to an increase in the number of unemployed by 4.9 million people in the same year. Now, the state of Benue alone registered by the end of 2020 the highest unemployment rate in Nigeria. In the fourth quarter of 2020, about 43.5% of the labor force in Benue were unemployed. Why are we not closing the unemployment gap in Nigeria, and what's causing the state of unemployment that we have in Nigeria? Please let us share what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So I'll come to you, Uti, first. Before I come to LC, what do you think the biggest problem is with unemployment in Nigeria? Is it for lack of the right people to employ, or there are no jobs available? What exactly is the problem?
I think from my perspective, there are multiple problems.
Okay.
I mean, I always say that we're a retail dream. 200 million people, a largely youthful population. But when the sector isn't pumping out the kind of graduates that we need, we have a focus on paper as opposed to real life skills that you can translate into the workplace. So for those guys on that end, I'm young, I'm starting a life, I want a job. I want somebody to give me an opportunity, but it's difficult. The opportunities, let's be honest, like you said, 450,000 jobs created in 1 year is a joke for a country of 200 million people. So the opportunities are slim. It's not that they're not there, because there are many roads to the market, but that's problem is there. So from the perspective of the job seekers, of the young people, they're disillusioned. There's that. It's a hard process. Then you as the employer, I need to find people. I need skilled hands. We've talked about brain drain so many times. Jackpot is the new word. Every day organizations are bleeding. They're like leaving the country. So, and you leave organizations, you just talked about the downtime today. All of these companies face the same challenges. They're tech guys, they're gone. This guy, oh, he left. Some of them is on LinkedIn, you find out, oh, in Canada? Sure. So the reality of it is the problems are many. And then if you then come to the individuals themselves, we were having a conversation before the show about Gen Z. Now, I don't mean to pick on Gen Z, but man, you guys work a nerve. Like, they're hard to manage. Their perspective on life is different from everybody else. It's unique. And
Unrealistic.
and the world hasn't caught up with them, so they need to try to keep up. The world will catch up eventually, but you need to assess the workplace as it is now and try to fit in. You can't be chatting your own course now. You have an employer, you have expectations. So the problems, in a nutshell, there are plenty. Everybody's perspective is valid. How we get from here to there, I'm going to leave that one to
the
our
experts.
guest.
How about you, Elsie?
What she said.
I'll charge you.
what she said.
What she said, right?
Bam. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let me bring in our guest. Rolake Rosiji has 10 years experience in strategic and operational management positions in businesses in renewable energy, FMCGs, and management consulting sector. She has advanced through a series of international level promotions and led multidisciplinary teams in Nigeria, UK, USA, Denmark, and across West Africa. As CEO of Jobberman Nigeria, Rolake strongly advocates for a transparent labor market. She is here to speak on the growing opportunities in the labor market, and also she wants to tell us how she's able to create, or she's going to be creating, more jobs or opportunities for people. Thank you so much, Rolake, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I saw you laughing all through Uti's conversations. I think she's cracking you up, you know.
Yeah.
But tell us, you are in a sector where you see these things every day. I mean, if Uti is complaining of problems of employment, I don't know how you're you are coping with the job, because if Utis, for instance, is getting maybe 10,000 CVs in a day, you're getting a million CVs in a day. And, you know, you have to sift through, you have to, you know, and so just walk us through the labor market. What exactly is it looking like today?
I mean, firstly, luckily for us, since it's our bread and butter to look for jobs for people, we're actually relying on the technology to do the hard work for us. So we have all the right algorithms on our platform online, which enables, if you're looking for anybody, you just put down, you know, the key skills you want, and the computer will do that hard work for you.
And filter, wow.
And filter. So I mean, depending on what you're looking for, you can go for one of our offerings where you'll still get thousands of CVs, because some people want that. They want the choice that maybe today I just want to hire a few, but then I can come back to all those other hundreds of CVs later. So I mean, that helps us in the job that we're doing, because really it is a big problem, like you're saying. So I mean, back to your question, what is the labor force looking like?
Yeah, labor market.
Yeah, I think everybody's suffering, you know, like everyone knows someone who's going through something, someone who's looking for a job, or someone who has a job but shouldn't be paying them what they are worth. So, you know, as you said to begin with, there's the 33%. So that's literally 1 in 3 people. You know, if you go into a supermarket, 1 in 3 people of working age is looking for a job. And then the underemployed here, we've had an increase in the number of jobs people have posted on our website looking for staff. So, you know, there are people looking for staff, and we're not always able to fill these jobs. So there goes to your question of talent, and do we have the right talent? We have a skills gap.
So talking about algorithms and filtering, it's interesting because it means that there could be someone who has got the skills you're looking for, but if their CV is not tailored to the right words in terms of that job, they might not be seen, not talk of being considered or interviewed. So what would you say is the gap in that space for people to understand
those specifics of how do you talk about your past experiences? You know, some people have never worked before. So if you don't have experience, how do you now show off the skills that you do have, that you will be good in that role?
So many times I've sat in an interview and I just, you know how you have the CV, so you have the person's number, and you just think to yourself, I just want to help that child. I just want to help that person. I just want to call them and say, when somebody says, introduce yourself, you don't say, I hail from Ondo State. I have 3 brothers and I studied at Ladoke Akintola University. Like, you have experience. Let's start from what is most relevant. It's a complete, so I think interviewing and CVs is a complete skill set. But Elsie, by the way, stole my question about the algorithm, because I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, you know, how do we need to structure the CVs? But I'd like to come back to, I mean, sites like Jobberman have closed a gap, a huge gap in Nigerian market, because in the past, it used to be man, no man. So you didn't even hear about the jobs. But you've created this platform that's user-friendly and people can use it. But given that we have, I mean, when I go on these sites, I don't know about you guys, I get overwhelmed. It seems like you search for one thing, like I'm in customer experience, and you search customer service or customer experience, and everything just comes pouring in. So is there a trick
Yeah.
to getting the best out of sites like yours?
And you're talking about it from the perspective of an employer who's looking for staff or job
you could take
seeker?
it from both sides. So for
Yeah.
me, even from I've done it from both sides,
Yes,
and
yes.
either way it's overwhelming. But at least I think on the employer side, you can offer me a service and you can do the screening for me. So just maybe some insights into how we can get the best out of platforms like yours on both sides.
Okay, so definitely as an employer, we offer a range of services. So if you want the most basic, then unfortunately you will be inundated with all the CVs, but it can work to your advantage too. And then we have the ability for you to search on our platform. So you can search the keywords that you're looking for. Now, if you want it more specific, and especially when you're looking for people with more experience, if you're looking for, let's say, a waiter, it's easier to get a bunch of CVs than you now start calling them because there's not really a specific skill. You just need someone who can treat your customers well, who will not be rude, who will be polite, who will have a nice personality. But when you start looking for senior level people, C-suites, even any sort of management level, anyone who's looking after a team, then we have a suite of services where you can either do it online, where there's one service of ours called Best Match. We will give you the top 10 candidates for that role that you're looking for. And the computer has really done the hard work and we will ask you, what qualifications do you want? How many years experience? What certificate should they have? And then the Best Match will give you that. But then if you want to go a step further and you're looking for more concierge services that will just deliver you the best person for the role or the best three, then we have senior executive recruitment offerings, which are more offline because as well as the technology. Exactly. We have an on-the-ground team of expert headhunters who will find you those people. They have their own network. We have our network in-house, and then we'll actually go out, we'll find them for you, we'll do the pre-screening, and then we'll deliver you the top 5, for that role. So that would take out a lot of the legwork. Because some people just don't have the time, and some of the statistics we have show that a lot of people are spending up to 20 or 25% of that candidate's salary looking for that candidate. Because first you start with WhatsApp, you start with friends, you use one recruiter than another. So what we're trying to do is to make all of that a lot more transparent, more cost effective, and that that when you now use the service, even if we tell you it's 2 weeks or 10 days, when you now get the candidate, at least they will fill the job that you want. So that's my advice. Go for the.
You mentioned underemployed. I'd like to talk a little bit on that, especially with the creative sector, where it seems like you are not earning what you are supposed to be worth, and that's just one part. When we're talking about brain drain, Uti, some people are they're not just leaving the country. Within the country, especially in that tech space, they are not working for Nigerian companies. They are sitting in the comfort of their homes and working remotely.
They are here physically,
Why?
but they are not here.
Because the remuneration is more profitable, getting that. So I want to see how we're bridging that gap when it comes to underemployment, where at least just pay me what I'm worth. Okay?
Yes.
That's all we're asking for.
Yes.
Is it too much?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But it's tough. It's tough in this economy, right?
Yeah.
Because so many people have been laid off. So even those who've kept their jobs, their employers are struggling to pay the same amount that they used to. So I actually think this remote working thing is a big opportunity for Nigerians, where people worldwide know that Nigerians are very smart. So I see Nigeria as becoming the next India. When you think about business process outsourcing, and you have teams of people in Bangalore, in India, serving HSBC in the UK or New York. That's where I see Nigeria going. So
I was going to come to ask, hold on, let's take a break. I was going to ask, so what's Jobberman doing, to help Nigerians? I don't want to get a job in Nigeria, I want to work abroad. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, so if you just tuned in, we're having an amazing chat with Rola here on unemployment and underemployment in Nigeria. So please let us hear what you have to say. Today, WhatsApp is not working. Please send us SMS, Send us an SMS on 081-803-84663. WhatsApp is not working. It's a global something.
We global.
So I was just going to ask, how did COVID-19 impact job seeking? The way job seekers look for jobs these days, and again, what you mentioned about people working in India, people living in India working for companies in the UK, in the US, and all of that. How can we also translate that to reduce the unemployment rate in Nigeria, where we have young people that have the skill, but they're able to work remotely. So at least it crashes this. Because COVID has taught us that there are no boundaries anymore. Everything can be done online. So how can we use, harness that opportunity that COVID has brought to us to say, you know what, we can also start seeking for jobs, for Nigerians outside of the shores of Nigeria.
So first question on how has it changed job seeking? I think firstly, when people realize that you can actually be in your home on a laptop, your boss doesn't have to be looking at you for you to be productive. That just changed everything for the whole world. Not just Nigeria, but we know that in our own culture is even more so a culture where we really need to be sitting next to your staff to trust that your staff is actually doing that work.
Job,
So in the same way, that then translated into how people were looking for jobs. Whereas in the past, you have to knock on the door, go physically present your face. No, now people became more comfortable with it. Their problems are real. So, what I would say is, how do we encourage private sector to employ more people here on the ground in Nigeria? How do we get the economy back on track? But back to the remote working, yes. I've spoken to, even in the last week, a company that is placing, so that has increased since COVID started. And that's an area that we're looking into with interest to see whether this is something we should actually even, expand how much we're doing here, because you can be anywhere and working overseas. So it's a very interesting space right now. Awesome. And you're seeing companies like Facebook who have really introduced remote working completely. Even I saw last week PwC in America said, okay, everybody can just stay working from home forever. So it's a really, really interesting trend, and we are getting more requests like that from partners overseas.
The world has changed; it's moved on. So I feel like I have so many questions now. In that short space of time, we said so many things. BPO is one that I'm very interested in because I have a customer service, customer experience, contact center background. And of course, BPO is made for contact centers, and I know that we have some companies that have set up BPO here, but the infrastructure issues. So I'm going to just leave that question. I'm going to leave that question to the side. But it's interesting when we talk about these options. It's great that our young people can work remotely and earn FX. But how does that impact the local market? Because we still have a huge problem. So if now we're opening the doors to people working remotely for a company abroad, your telco still needs to be online for your bank to work. How do we find a balance? I don't know if it's government policy. What are your thoughts there in terms of,
Yeah, I think whether it's public sector, private sector, and then, the NGO, civil service, everyone needs to work together. So what we're doing at Jobberman now, our bread and butter is our online recruitment platform, and then our executive recruitment team that's offline. Where we're placing people in jobs. But more recently, we've taken on a lot of work with foundations. For example, we have a partnership with MasterCard Foundation to place 3 million Nigerians in jobs by 2025. 3 million, and then 5 million through soft skills and employability training by 2025. And that's, one of the most exciting projects that we're working on, because it means year on year, we're able to put large numbers.
Close the gap.
Yes.
Are there restrictions? Elsie, go ahead. Okay. I was going to ask, are there restrictions for the kinds of people that you're looking for? So, for instance, was it last week a report came out that said the UK was looking for drivers and you're laughing, and farmers, and they were going to give them visas to work. Yes, to work from October all the way to December, and then they come back to Nigeria. So,
who told them they want to come back? If they want to make it juicy, they should make it juicy, but go ahead.
So I'm just thinking the kinds of jobs that Jobberman is, or the kind of people you recruit for and all of that, is this just restricted to this structured workforce, or we're looking at the people, maybe NC. I mean, people that don't even go to school at all. Are we mopping all of those people up from the street?
We actually are. So we're looking across the board. So I think that's one of the special things about Jobberman, is that we do from the most senior level roles to people who may not have gone to university, people with vocational skills. So actually this year we started a partnership also with NYSC to train all 120,000 young people that are going through NYSC this year. And then the partnership with MasterCard, where we're actually getting the highest number of placements. It's a lot of jobs like agent bankers, you know? So all these fintechs who are now looking for agent bankers to use a POS to accept payments wherever they are in Nigeria. So it includes also, you know, blue collar roles, factory workers. So it's across the board. But when you're talking those big numbers, it's easier, and when we're looking at the lower level jobs.
So I'm currently working with a startup, and recruiting is a problem, right? And you have this gap, and for me, I sometimes wonder if the gap is more in soft skill or hard skill. And you mentioned something now about the trainings and then soft skill. How would you describe what is going on in that gap when it comes to skills? Do we have more problem with soft skill or hard skill?
Such a good question. Has been coming up a lot. So we're doing this training exclusively on soft skills because we did a lot of research that was backed by the International Labour Organization and many other organizations to prove that soft skills is actually the thing that determines whether or not someone not only gets the job, but then now keeps the job. So of course you need that hard skill if you're in customer service or if you're a software developer. Of course you need the hard skill to even get the interview. But when 5 of you have the same certificate, who are they going to choose? The person who communicates better, who has more emotional intelligence, who's better at timekeeping, who shows up on time, who's polite. So we realized that, you know, as Jobberman, we can't develop a course for every single technical skill. Well, because we saw the gap with the soft skills, that's why we developed a soft skill curriculum. And we've had so much positive feedback. In fact, last week we launched a new initiative called the Alliance for Better Work. And the idea of the Alliance for Better Work is that if you become a member of this alliance, it's driven by Jobberman with our partnership with MasterCard Foundation. You'll get discounts on recruitment, you'll get pre-vetted candidates, you'll get assistance with onboarding. And when it's something that has been missing across the board. I was kind of say Gen Z, but actually it's really across the board.
Hey, trust me. It's everywhere.
I want to quickly just add to that, because soft skills is important. But another thing that I'm also seeing as a gap when people have actually gotten the job is a culture fit. Now, does an algorithm find a good culture fit? Because it's such a huge thing. You know, people come in and you were talking about it today, that what do you stand for as a young person? What do you want to be known for? And some of these things, they're very difficult to sort of weed out at that stage. So what does Jobberman do to help?
Can I ask you guys a question? What's the culture here? So what would be the culture fit that you would want here?
So, I mean, so I won't use the organization, but I think culture is it's different. You know, you don't have a culture of one. It's a collective.
Yes.
But you find that where you want, sorry, Gen Z, but where you want people who are thinking, not maybe outside of the box, but thinking holistically. So who are seeing that I have to go the extra mile. Like you said, some of the soft skills, timekeeping, reliability, credibility, all of these things, they matter in different mixes to different organizations. So let me keep it that way. But how do we assess these things? How does that jump out of a CV? I can tell you what certificates I have and that, but you know,
I don't think it can. I just don't think it can jump out of an algorithm, that's for sure. Out of a CV, perhaps, you know how some CVs have a profile at the very beginning where you talk a bit about yourself and your background, and you share your personality. I think that's quite important because it tells someone your story. So it's not just your skills, what you did. I like to meet a candidate face to face. I'll have the phone call interview, maybe 1 or 2, but then when it comes down to the crunch, I want to meet you first face to face and get your energy, really get a sense of your personality.
So there's a Nigerian.
I thought there was a magic formula you were going to give me.
When you find out, please let us know. We'll try and build it into our algorithms.
I say that algorithm we'll go build up together. You know, I was going to ask that. You know, there's a Nigerian factor when it comes to things, and so what factor is that one thing that you've really struggled with, you know, in Jobberman, for instance, with recruiting young people or helping companies recruit young people? Because sometimes young people just keep going, there's no job. I want to believe that that's not 100% true, right? So there's, I mean, I don't know who mentioned the thing about also the attitude and all of that. It's very important. So tell me what the biggest struggle has been in terms of trying to even close this unemployment gap in Nigeria.
So let me give two answers to that. So I think the first one, you know, young people saying there's no job. And as much as we've been knocking Gen Z, I think we also have a lot to learn from them. I think they grew up quite differently to us, and they're very bold. Come here for 1 year, do this, bye-bye. Give them the vision. Okay, after you succeed in this role, this is where you'll be promoted to. This is where you can go when you do well. So you can't just expect someone to be motivated without cause. Motivate them, show them the cherry at the end of the hard work. So I think that has been difficult, you know, because we have done a lot of different interviews for so many different companies, and they say, oh, but this person is lacking passion. But when you now give the advice to the employer that, okay, but did you now tell them really what they can get out of this? Have you shown them that your culture is somewhere they can build a long-term career? You know, then they say, okay, let's rethink this. And then your question about, you spun your question at the end to how does this help plug the unemployment gap? We've had a few requests from large dispatch and tech companies to look for dispatch drivers. You know, we see them all around Lagos nowadays. And we've really tried our best, because these big companies are looking for 200 drivers a month because and convincing them to have a day-to-day job and a monthly salary. No, they'll rather often do a job where they know that, okay, today I'll get this money and tomorrow I can go to the factory and do something else. So that's really been tough.
So talking about
that's an interesting perspective. Go ahead.
Talking about molding us to understand Gen Zs as well, and culture. And for culture, now I'm not talking about culture fit. I'm talking about the culture that unemployment in Nigeria has given birth to in the workplace, regarding being appreciated and understood where you work. So when you, this is what I want and this is how I want it. Now Z would think. So how do you begin to help the C-suite members understand how to be good managers of this talent? Because they're amazing people as well, even with their shortcomings. So how does that work?
That's subservient kind of, you know, if you, I mean, like, my life depends on your job. It's a very nasty thing to do to any human being.
It's horrible. And I feel that with the unemployment situation, it's even more prevalent, because some employers can feel that, but this person owes me their livelihood, they owe me, they have no other choice. There's actually a competition for talent right now. So as much as there's unemployment, the people who are good, many people want them. So, you know, even personally in our office place, we've had someone just move to Canada, someone moved to the UK. So overseas competition, but also competition here in Nigeria. But many times you don't know that that person appreciates you or your boss appreciates you. So show that person that you appreciate the work they did, that you're grateful. When they do something good, give them positive feedback. Don't wait for them to want to leave. To now start saying, but you were so amazing. It's too late by then. When they've started looking for a job, it's too late. So I think that's my one key piece of feedback. Just keep that dialogue and tell people when they do a good job. Let them feel appreciated. Yeah.
You're going to say something.
And that
Blue collar, the not so educated people. Because
one thing I really believe is that we cannot plug this gap with just white collar and with office jobs. So at Jobberman, we're really focused with our Mastercard Foundation on 3 sectors that we see have been growing fast: technology, agriculture, and the creative sector. So, you know, majority of people in agriculture, you don't have to have gone to any university. You can have vocational skills. You can understand agronomy. So yeah, definitely, I believe, we need to focus on these areas that are not just about university grads, because the numbers are too big, and we know the reality on ground in Nigeria. The number of people going to university is too small, and we don't want to push everyone. That's not for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So agriculture, I think, is one area. Across the creative sector, on our different things. I don't know it, but it's in the report, so you can read it for yourself. And then we're about to publish an agriculture skills gap report next week. So yeah, we need to encourage people to be proud of vocational skills. It's not just university degree.
Well, you won't blame them now. Nigeria, the Nigerian culture, if you haven't gone to the university, you're not to be respected. If you do not own a degree. So that's why a lot of people, then when you own a degree, you should own a second class upper or a first class. Anything two below, you're not employable. So it's a big deal. And that's why even with the certificate, a lot of people just go pay money to get a 2-1. By the time they're in front of Uti, they cannot speak English. I hail from Ondo State or whatever she said. But I think, we've had a fantastic conversation. I think we should do this more often, because I realize that a lot of times, we just need to open up the eye of people to see that there are better opportunities everywhere. Sometimes we are limited based on the information that we have.
Yes.
So imagine if we open up our minds. 200 drivers is not a joke. 200 riders. So why would I not take on that employment? So what's the issue? So it's not for lack of jobs. It's that some people also do not understand some of these things. But I like for us to have a conversation again on this. Thank you so much. We've run out of time.
Yes, we have.
Especially for people that recruit and like the welfare, the well-being of your staff is also important.
Yes,
it plays a huge role. So if I offer you a job to be a rider, and I say, it comes with health insurance, it comes with, I'm sure you would be, wooing that staff.
Yes,
you would be willing.
20,000 graduates starting next year.
Awesome. Age, what's the age range?
18 to 35.
18 to 35. So if you're 18 to 35 out there, this is for you. Remember, we said we'll be doing giveaway. You just heard another one. Thank you, Utielu. Thank you, Elsie Godwin. Thank you so much, Rolake. We had a fantastic conversation. So before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can drop a comment. Most importantly, we're planning a giveaway. Rolake just gave you one. If you're 18 and between the ages of 18 to 35, go to their website and go register for a program. It's going to change your life. All right. So follow us at PlusTvAfrica. Interact with us further. Drop a comment. And most importantly, we just said we're planning a giveaway. So take advantage of that. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. One focus for economic development is the local unemployed and underemployed. If you want to grow any economy, just stick on that market and that sector. Things will change. Somewhat uncertain times, but we know that 2022 can only be better. Thank you for staying with us.
Here we stand as a people with one song, with one voice. We're a nation undivided and poised. We will take a stand to build our land with faith, to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart, for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where the freedom reigns and truth prevails, a land where there's hope for us all. A land where there's hope for us all. a great nation.
An email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Reading is an essential habit and a culture that must be developed. Nigerians are generally believed to have a poor reading culture. The role of government in promoting reading and equipping reading spaces and libraries in Nigeria cannot be underestimated. But first, we must look at the development of reading habits from the home and the
reading encyclopedias by that time. So obviously my parents had a huge part and encouraged that in me.
In the Nigerian book market, there's a high influx of foreign authors writing for children, but very few Nigerian authors telling relatable, homegrown Nigerian stories.
If you start out reading stories even to your baby, even before they're 1, and then as they get older, buy appropriate materials that are colorful, with easy to read words, and read with them. I think that helps.
People have gone past the era where you just take your books with just about any printer to print for you. I think, publishers, self-published authors as well, they need to invest in ensuring that the quality of the book, the final output is one that will, stack up with any book, published, elsewhere in the world. So that's really important. Then I think, what would be like the most important tip for me to them would be just, they need to invest in marketing.
The book business, like any other business, is challenging.
If you ask anyone who's running the business in Nigeria, they will tell you capital, of course, right? Book selling is also, as with any other business, is also quite capital intensive. Getting to pay your rent, getting to actually buy the books and stock up your shelves when you have them. Hiring good people requires decent amount of capital. So I would say it's getting the startup funds to set up something, and then if you're looking to do it at scale like we're hoping to do, then it also requires you raising funding, which isn't readily available in commercial banks, right? I don't think a bank would say they want to give you a loan to set up a bookstore. They probably will be skeptical about the number of people who read. So for us, I think it's just I would say capital is at the top of the totem pole.
it is commendable that with gratitude to God for a life well spent, the Othawori family announces the home call for their beloved wife, mother, sister, aunt, and cousin, Ikwo Henshaw Othawori, on Friday, 10th December 2021. Age 59 years. Until her passing, she was Director, Inspectorate, National Headquarters, State Security Service. Burial arrangements are: funeral service, Tuesday, 28 December 2021. Time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Temple of God Parish, 12 Lai Yusuf Crescent off Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Interment follows after the service at Ikoyi Cemetery. She is survived by her husband, Mr. Fola Othawori, her children, Saliba, Edem, and Rotimi.
Welcome. Family values in an African setting. How do we behave? How do we know how to be with each other? Who teaches us to be kind? How do we learn about discipline? My sisters and I will be talking about this in a moment.